Hello, everyone. My name is Ran Shapira, and I'm a solution lead at AKT. And I will be talking to you today about the latest enhancements for this release in the learning and work zone modules. Let's start with the learning module. This SuccessFactors release is characterized by a mix of one major universal enhancement and a few smaller ones. Today, we will cover the major enhancement and another important enhancement around the native login. So the main enhancement of this release of SuccessFactors Learning is the new course home, replacing the original course home. This means that all customers who until today use the original course home will be switched automatically to new course home. A bit of history and orientation on the topic of course home. When we are talking about course home, we mean the pages which present all type of items in the learning system. There are a total of 3 generations of course home in SuccessFactors Learning. The first generation is the item details page. This is the old item user interface some of the customers still use. Quite a few customers with validated LMS tend to still use it as it fully covered all the needed functionality, including electronic signature. Customers who still would prefer to keep using it also in this release will be able to. This generation is not getting removed yet. SAP has yet to announce the future date when it will be removed. The second generation is the original course home. This is the one most of you are using. This is also the one being removed from the software in this release. This generation is enabled on your instances if the configuration enable course home equals true is set. The third generation is the new course home. It has been available for a few releases already and was gradually getting more features to finally achieve almost full parity with the original course home in this release. So now it is fully ready for use, and SAP has announced it is replacing the original course home. This generation is enabled on your instances if enable course home blended equals to true. This is a misleading title as it does not relate only to blended items, but anyway, we understand that. So in this release, all customers which previously had only enabled course home equals true will now get the enable course home blended equals true and move to the third generation. So this is actually most customers, because most customers currently use this second generation and will move to the third generation. It is important to understand that the course home is just the user interface. So switching from the original course home to the new course home is decoupled from the definition of your content in the backend. The same item that worked well in the original course home should work well and even better in the new course home. So theoretically speaking, at least, the transition should be smooth and no action would be required from you, except for maybe updating your end user training materials. But nevertheless, we encourage you to learn about this change and do a regression test of sample item-related content that you have to verify no action is required. On the next slides, we'll cover what's different and what you should be looking at more closely. In this release, new course home reaches near full parity, as we said, with the previous generations. Added features include support for item classification of type other, task checklist OJT scenario, gem integration, and the option of selecting missing approvers in the registration approval process. On the other hand, features not yet supported by new course home include government reporting for French customers, external users, associated competencies manager view, and approval comments when registering for a class. Let's start reviewing the actual user interface change coming with the new course home. The main item page, relevant for all item types, gets a fresh look. The course page is much more compact and can be viewed without scrolling. No more big rectangular item thumbnail at the top, which used to look stretched. We're back to a square thumbnail. Assignment details such as assigned by and assignment date are now available as well. New course home online experience is an improvement over the original course home and solves a few thorny issues. First of all, if the item includes just one piece of content, then the side content list section is hidden. If more than one content is included in the item, then the content list section appears, as you can see here. You can find breadcrumbs at the top of the item view that allow the employee to easily jump to the item details page, the library, or back to the landing page. When the item is completed, you can get a pop-up message that allows you to go back to the landing page instead of the not so nice confirm completion line in the content section we used to have in the original course home. Another nice improvement is that new course home respects the item online content definition of automatically launched content, which means you can control whether the content will start playing immediately or the user will have to click to start. This is especially useful when you intend the user to select one out of many content objects in the item. For example, content in their own language out of a selection of content languages for completing the item. So if you ignore this definition so far, you can now start using it. The feature I was mostly happy to see is the option to easily import MP4 video content as is to be displayed in the same window of the item, also when using AICC wrapper read and sign. This was not possible in the second generation original course home and made us use SCORM wrappers and zips to get the experience we wanted for our learners. So from now on, you can import those MP4s in a straightforward way while also maintaining backward compatibility of any zip SCORM workarounds you may. There is also an admin opt-in enhancement related to new course home for online items that we highly recommend to enable, which is the option to override the content object level definition of launching the content in a new window. This is important because in almost all cases, the learning experience is better when the content is launched in the same window of the item, so the learner can see the content list section in the same page and browse between the content objects in the item without getting multiple pop-up windows. To opt in for this feature, set the new LMS admin override content launch in new window setting to true. The default is false, which means the content level definition will prevail. Opting for this means you don't have to now change all the old content object that for some historical reason you set to open in a new window to open in the same window. This will happen automatically if you set this to true. Once again, we encourage you to test your typical online content in your preview instances before deciding to enable this override feature, because it might be the case that for some contents you do want them to open in a new window. Compared to the more significant changes that we saw in the online items, the instructor-led class registration page has only changed slightly in new course home relative to the original course home, showing also the days of the weeks of the start and end dates, and with a slightly better layout. The registration confirmation changed as well to be a pop-up window. In addition to the changes in online and instructor-led items, also the on-the-job training items based on task checklist observation are getting a nice opt-in feature that was requested by many customers. Before this release, only the observer could see the tasks in the checklist during the observation period, while the employee could only see the task list from the learning history record after the observation has already been completed. Starting in this release, employees will be able to see a preview of the task checklist on the items page, also available from the library. This can allow the employee to prepare for the observation. This feature is an opt-in that can be enabled from global application settings by turning on task checklist preview is available feature. Pay attention that this feature is available only for customers who will be using the new course home feature. It will not be available for customers who keep using the first generation item details page. As we said earlier, the major changes in this release are around the new course home. But here is another important enhancement. SAP is making a big change around native and external user login. This is relevant for customers who are using external users who are currently logging in using native login directly to LMS or using sites without authenticating to BizX. SAP is moving away from native login as part of improving platform security as well as allowing all users to benefit from some platform capabilities such as mobile app access. Native login is in the process of being replaced by IAS to LMS integration. This means that external users logging in via sites or from native login page will be redirected to login against IAS. This option is already available since the previous release, and some of our customers have already taken steps to move to the new IAS to LMS integration. This is a good move, but actually it was done also under the previous announcement by SAP that the native login will be completely removed from the product in this release, as the move has been considered mandatory. But this has changed. In mid-October, SAP has updated the timeline, allowing 2 more years to take that move to IAS LMS integration by the second half of 2024 release. This means you can still serve your external users using the native login, and you don't need to make the move right now. Still, we encourage you to consider making the move to IAS to LMS integration as soon as you can, as the native login method is no longer maintained by SAP, meaning there's not going to be any bug fixes or anything like that, or any support around this. The announced timeline is uniform for native login, integrated external users, and validated customers. The mandatory move will be second half 2024. If you want to start making the move already today, please contact us and we'll help you make this transition to IAS LMS integration. So that's it for SuccessFactors learning enhancements for this release. Let's move on to speak about the workzone enhancement for this release. SAP Workzone for SuccessFactors is an employee experience platform that allows the organization to design an employee-focused experience which can bring all HR processes, application, and information in one central place. It combines an easy-to-design homepage, workflow capabilities, integration capabilities, workspaces to manage content, as well as the option to use SAP-provided templates coming in the form of UI cards, which are actually widgets on the screen, and guided experience, which are step-by-step integrated workflows. In this release, SAP is introducing a new HR guided experience for onboarding. It is a personalized journey you can provide for your new hires from the time they receive an offer letter to their first 90 days at your company. You can use this guided experience to onboard your employees with the pre-built tasks designed for different phases through the onboarding journey. The onboarding guided experience allows the onboardees to access information, applications, and workflows they need while onboarding. It covers 3 phases of onboarding: before your first day, and your first 3 months. Then, in each phase, there are a few steps, and in each step, a few activities. Let's take, for example, the before your first day phase. In the first step, the onboardee is expected to provide some personal information and fill in some compliance forms. In the second step, the employee is provided with an embedded video and a few links to help get to know the company. In the third step, the employee provides vaccination information. And in the fourth step, the employee is directed to learning in the SuccessFactors learning module. Next phases include interesting steps such as reviewing your onboarding goals set in the goals module, as well as looking for mentors set in the career development module. The prerequisite for this guided experience is a Workzone license and installation, as well as the SuccessFactors onboarding module implemented and configured with the relevant aspects, including the onboarding guided experience. Some optional parts of this guided experience also rely on SuccessFactors learning, goal management, and career development. The strength of this Workzone guided experience is in providing the employee an integrated experience across multiple SuccessFactors modules. The guided experience is provided as a content package template, so the Workzone admin can change user interface texts, such as the page title, the phase names, step name, and descriptions. The admin can also control which steps are mandatory. Well, that's it for WorkZone for this release. We're looking forward for more great HR content cards and guided experience also in the next SuccessFactors releases.